Hey, how you doing? Jason once again. I'm a game developer still. My website! Wow! Job now, please and thank you. I think this will be the last video on this project that's specific and targeted. So if you've stuck with me on the series, wholeheartedly, no jokes, thank you. Moving forward, I'm not sure what I'll do next, but I have a feeling I'll keep at this content stuff for a while, so whatever I do next, I hope you'll stick with me. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about menus. Menus have always been nebulous things to me. Unlike gameplay, they don't really have much of a programming structure. As long as the player can press a button and have something happen that's related to that button, then does it really matter how they're connected in the backend? Yes! Of course it does, like are you kidding? Listen to me. While menus can be as simple as directly connecting nodes together on button press, like if the player presses the play button, you could simply tell the level select menu nodes to be visible and always loaded, but like, ew, yuck, gross, icky. Okay, well what's the problem with that? I mean, if the game is small and menus are simple, then this direct relationship will never be an issue. Yes, correct. If it works, leave it alone, of course. But the beauty of over-engineering non-issues is once the architecture is completed, you can now reuse those systems for everything you make in the future. Plus, expanding on good architecture is always easier and better for designers than creating new tools based on bad architecture and taping them all together later. Here, I'll set the scene. You've directly connected menus together, making them visible and invisible whenever needed or unneeded. You have a play button that goes into a match settings menu, that goes into a side select menu, that goes into a character select menu, that then goes into a quick questionnaire on what you've been up to on Tuesday at 2 AM. Oh, but now the player wants to go back all the way to match settings menu. So now what? Do you directly connect the back button to the menu you expect to be behind it? But what happens if they select single player mode, and now there's no side select menu necessary? Also, what if you wake up at 2 AM on Tuesday and decide you want to change the order they're in? Maybe add one more quiz before character select menu. Alright then, smart guy. That's me. He's talking about me. What's the alternative? Menu stack. This on its own is a relatively simple concept and can take a few forms, but the gist is this. Every time a menu is presented to the player, add it to a menu history list. Then, when a back button is pressed, as long as the current open menu is allowed to close, we simply remove it from the menu history list and walk back a single step in the list. Now, whatever menu was back one step is now the current menu. Alright, that solved one issue, but what about the others? How do you propose we load menus and make them active? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Context. I warn you. This is a difficult concept to visualize, but for my testing, if you like and subscribe, it gets easier. Wait! Don't hurt me! Oh my god, I'm so sorry! Please! I just want to make cool stuff, please! Ah! I can't believe I died again, man. This time I'm evil Jason, back from the darkest depths to torture you with interesting and related game development insights and concepts. In my script I have rah, ha 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 ha, and I tried it a million times, I can't do it, so just picture it. If you think about it, which I know is really hard for you, so I'll do it, please hire me. Menus in a game are always grouped up together. Main menu has its set, which is the menu itself, level select menu, settings menu, and pause menu has its own set as well. The pause menu itself, a settings menu inside it, maybe a return to specific other menu button, but we can box them in even more. Realistically, you'll never need the main menu while the game is being played, and you'll never need the pause menu while you're sitting in the main menu either. First, we need to make these boxes in the first place in order to put the menus in. Let's say the game has two main boxes. It could be menu mode or gameplay mode. Of course, we also need a way to track when the player is in one or the other, so let's call them game states. Game state is now the source of truth for the whole game. When we swap states, everything that would change as a result listens to game state. When we want to swap states, game state should already be doing that automatically based on signals being sent from other systems, if your design is good. Now that we have our states and a way to track them, we automatically gain context, We can finally group things up based on the context or game state they reside in by using data tables. Let's look at the menu context data table. Simple, right? We have a list of menus and the default menu for this context. That list of menus is also simple. Each menu entry is just a name or ID and an object to load. Now if we go into our menu stack, the controller we made earlier, we can create a static table that connects a game state to a pre-made menu context dataset. Perfect. Now whenever the game state changes, the menu stack controller will swap out the currently accessible menus based on the game state that was changed to and the context that was linked to it. After a bit more programming work, of course, it never ends. Well, that solves the issue of having everything always loaded, but now how do we know what button goes into what menu? To be honest, for me, in this project, I kept that part relatively simple. When the player presses a button, that button asks the menu stack controller to load a menu based on a name. If we're in the pause menu, let's say the player clicked the settings button. The menu stack controller is then called to load a new menu from the currently active context to the top of the stack called settings. If it doesn't have it, nothing will happen, but if it does, the settings menu is loaded, placed at the top of the menu stack, and now we're done. HUD. Really quick, I know HUD and UI are different things, okay? I use those terms interchangeably and incorrectly, not because I'm ignorant or stupid, but because I literally hate you. Remember, I'm Evil Jason. Ha ha ha! F you, bitch. That is all. This is usually simple in most games because HUD is never changed or messed with. But my project, of course, makes this more complicated. This project is a WarioWare fighting game. That means this game is a collection of smaller mini-games played back to back. In WarioWare, they dodge the issue of HUD by having most minigames not have HUD at all. But since this is a fighting game, HUD elements are sometimes necessary. Even more confusing, not every HUD element is needed when HUD is even on at all. So how do we deal with all these complications? Minigame definition. The systems involved in running each minigame need information to prepare them correctly. One of those systems is the UI controller. It can load a HUD object at any time and knows where to place each one on the screen. This controller also stores each loaded HUD element into its own list based on what character it belongs to and what type of UI it is. This makes removing individual elements easier for the sake of flexibility. Let's go back and take a look at minigame definition again. We see that a minigame can be one of three types: standard, fighter, and boss. Without getting too stuck in the details, the one we're interested in is fighter. Within the fighter game data, we have a single UI context. Sound familiar? UI context is a simple list of HUD elements. Each HUD element in the list is a set type and is assigned to a character role. As an example, this is my easy combo minigame definition. In here we have a UI context that has 5 entries. Health bar, set to the enemy role, combo counter, set to the player role, clean hit indicator, set to the player, EX meter, set to the player, and super meter, set to the player. Once a minigame is chosen, its definition is sent out via a signal. UI controller listens for that signal, grabs the data, and looks for a UI context within it. If it finds one, it works through the context to load in each element and connect them to a character's components based on its role and type. As an example, if it's a health bar HUD element for the enemy role, then it gets connected to the enemy character's health component, so that when the component changes, like say they take damage, the health bar HUD element is changed directly. Once that's done, it's then placed on the screen based on its type and assigned role. Like if we're using health bar again, if it's on the player side, it's on the left. If it's on the enemy side, it's on the right side of the screen. And there you have it. After 20,000 lines of code and like 4 weeks of work, you have a fully functioning UI and menu system. Minigames. Alright, it's time we put everything we've learned in this series together in a final playable state. Minigames are their own scenes, I'm sorry to tell you. When I started on this project, I really wanted every minigame to be purely data-based, that gets loaded up into a scene and placed in a specific way defined in the data. The issue with the pure data approach though is things are too rigid, with lots of rules and specific uses. Data is useful when there's a pattern to how that data is used. Minigames, especially in the WarioWare style, usually do fall into categories and patterns when it comes to their literal gameplay. They are typically radically different when it comes to presentation, however. Sadly for me, a guy who loves data structures and creating dynamic systems, you can't really truly create fun and unique minigames based on data alone. When it comes to creating levels, you need to make them by hand, and hopefully with an artful and delicate one. With that in mind, how do we build a minigame? You make a script for every specific game that uses its specific scene information and setup to play in a specific way. There's simply no way to translate fun gameplay into purely data and pattern-based structures in this genre. It'd be like trying to create a Souls-like with the same structure as Slay the Spire. It just would never work. Once you've made a scene for your minigame and added a root script for its gameplay rules, you then have to make a minigame definition that houses the stuff that is purely data and can be changed regardless of the gameplay in the scene. For this data, think of universal stuff like a name, a time limit, number of lives or tries, the UI context, the movement and action states accessible to the player character, the types of inputs that are allowed, and the minigame scene itself. When the player starts a run, and the minigame is chosen from a list of available definitions, that definition is sent into a main run controller parsed, and then sent out via a signal. After all the big bad systems are done with the poor little used up definition, its scene is loaded and the minigame script starts. Well, you now have a fully functioning video game, created from scratch, made completely on your own with no outside libraries used, that amounts to about 9,000 lines of code. Congratulations! This should help you get a job for sure. No one in their right mind would look at all this hard work and deny your abilities. Go show it off, and hopefully, this gets you somewhere. Lol. Alright, that's the end of the video, and I think this series. There's so many smaller details I could still cover, and I might just do that. But for more edited videos covering this project, I think I hit every topic that would make sense. I probably will make more specific kinda talk the screen showing code style videos, but I'd consider that more like bonus stuff. Behind the scenes type content, you know? But I mean, look forward to it if you're interested. Like I said at the top, I'm not sure where or what I'll do after this, but I know I'll keep posting stuff. Whether it's my work or gaming stuff in general, I love Dragon Quest, that might be the thing, I don't know. Until I get paid, I'm just gonna keep working and grinding away. Hopefully one day I get lucky. I mean, I guess we'll see, right? Hopefully these videos get me somewhere. Alright, enjoy the outro and have a great day. Hey, sub and like if you think I'm funny, or you think I'm cool, or you think I'm smart, or you think I did a good job. I think all those things, so I already did. Go check out my portfolio if you want to watch my watch my stuff. Bye bye!